Well, hello today. It's another new set. We haven't done the on-the-air test for that Murphy base station that came in, but I needed to get on with this, so it's come off the bench. The Yosan CB100. A customer says to us he's got one of these and the squelch doesn't work. I said, well, before you send it in, I'd better buy one in and see if there's anything we can do with them anyway. So we have done. They appear to be popular in Poland, and this having arrived from a UK regular eBay source, there's a range of other models, as you can see here. Turbo, does that mean it's got a fan inside it? No idea. This box looks very much opened and closed again, so I don't know how new this new set is, but I've opened it the wrong way up. I mean, nothing's in bags. I mean, this, considering the cost. So it's a extended local remote set, is how we would describe it. Perhaps there's another one that the squelch doesn't work on, so it got sent back. Well, it's supposed to do Polish, it's supposed to do UK, because I checked that before I bought it. We wouldn't buy anything which we can't use on the UK set of channels. It has built-in CTCSS, and I think it was £94, so it wasn't free by any means, especially for one which is not quite as new as it's supposed to be. Well, that's the extended local remote cable, so I can just pop that cable tie back round that, because we don't need it out. The idea is it's one of these that you can put in the boot and just have the front display in your car, which can be useful in the tight spaces in a lot of modern cars. It's got the detachable power lead. I'm competing with the radio news because it's just come up to 2 o'clock. And our background music system goes over to various different radio stations. It alternates between BBC World Service, Radio 4 and Radio Lincolnshire. And I think it will be going back to Chopin piano, I think, is the what's on the system today. Right, we've got that plugged in. There's an extension speaker socket on the back, and we'll get that connected up to our power supply. There's a wind today. I can hear us against the various aerials we have here. And switching the power supply on, and we'll just make sure that's set to 13.8 volts, which it is. The radio is actually drawing 40 milliamps on standby with nothing switched on. It's a nice shaped mic. It's a little bit too light for my liking. And it's fitted with a 6-pin communications plug. So That's channel, that's not on and off. So first of all we have to find out how we switch it on. So oh yes, it's that, and it's come on with the Polish set of channels as standard. So let's find out how we alter that. It's one or two menu things: light, beep, Roger bleep, timeout timer, and time and scan stop time. It's amber, red, and green a display. This is a set not normally available in the UK, so I'll be careful if it doesn't quite do things exactly how I would like to see it, because it isn't intended to be here in the first place. So we've got a English instruction book, which surprised me, because the one I read online was a Polish one. Well, I didn't read it, but I was able to see that it did what we wanted. And the radio is supposed to do what? 4 watts FM, and on receive it's supposed to be what? Right, well it's in minus dBm, so I haven't got my conversion chart. Yeah, I work in microvolts, so it must be my age. So let's see. So bound to be one of these things where we channel selection. No. No mention of the multi-norms. Oh, CB100 or CB200, so it covers 2 models. I didn't see that initially. Well, I can't see anything about this. So what do we switch it on, do you think? No idea. Oh, well, I've done a reset anyway, so we're now on Europe channels. No idea what we're doing here. No idea at all. There we are. Aha, it's MR stroke DX. What do we do? Key the mic. Press it again. Wait for it to time out. Hold it. Switch it off. Switch it back on. No, it didn't do it, did it? Right, we'll do that again then. So we're in U. No, we're still in E. Set U. Do we hold that and press it? No, we don't. Well, this is going to be a 40-minute video, I can see on... just on this. Ah, that's it. So 9-stroke shift has locked it in. So now when we switch it off and switch it back on again, it should say U. It does. Excellent. So what's that? I don't know what that is. What is AL? Briefly press the power button and then rotate the knob. Oh! How bizarre is that? So to change channel, you've got to put it into a function to make it change the channel. Right. Well, that was long-winded, wasn't it? Right, let's see what it's doing on transmit. So we'll switch picture-in-picture on, which today hopefully is going to give us a picture-in-picture. And we will key it up. So I'll start off on the 3-watt range, so we should get more than full-scale deflection. We do. We'll go over to the 30-watt range, and so for 4 watts, that's 5 we should be getting there. We're getting 3. So that's the usual problem with most new CB radios. So, I'll just check deviation. .5. We're at 1.5 whether we use the instrument or whether we use the voice, so far too low as well. So the next stage is we need to open up the radio, and look, it's got a warranty for me to invalidate. I'll switch the soldering iron on in case we have to unsolder a speaker lead. Well, fancy having to press a button to make it change channel. That's in 40 years I've been seeing these, 39 years, isn't it? I've not seen that before. Sure, that reminds me of one of the Albrick sets, to be honest, but anyway. Now just unpower it. Right, we'll disconnect the speaker. So clearly got a modulation transformer there. Could be the CTCSS subboard. There's a relay there. Reference crystal there with its, by the looks of it, it's crystal trimmer. Or is that a preset resistor? No, it's a preset resistor. We've got crystal there with two trimmers. VCO. I would expect those three are the transmit line. I would expect those to be the receive. We've got the IF there and a demodulator there. So I may as well draw a little diagram. That says AM mod. So that's one we don't need to touch, because we will not be touching AM with it being no interest, as in CPT channels being no interest to me here. So we've got a preset down there. The output transistor is 2SC2078, so it's definitely limited to 4 watts. Anybody who says it's being sold to them as being more powerful than that, it isn't, because it's that output transistor is definitely 4 watts. Right, I'll go and get a piece of paper. We'll put that on the clipboard. That was when I was setting a printer up with. Right, well, I think I've worked it out. So we'll see as we go along. Okay. So we'll start with seeing if we can get 4 watts out of the radio. And it has an automatic voltage regulator, which appears to be down there. Probably zoom in a fraction more. So while still in transmit, we could just get it to do 4 watts. So I'll just go through these coils. Remember, we're doing this for channel 20 UK set of channels. If you wanted it to work on EU channels as well, you do this on channel 1 of UK or channel 40 of CPT channels. If you only wanted it to work on CPT channels, you do it on channel 20, so you're doing it in the middle. But we will never be using it on CPT, and so we can just optimize it. So we're still at the spot on the 4 watts. Just gone fractionally over, which is good, and it's about 1.0 something. that's not adjustable, and that will be part of the receiver. So it's doing the 4 watts, so that's good. I'll just make sure we're not thrashing it. Drawing 1.54 amps. Modern sets draw more current than the older ones with the CPU arrangement. That's warmed up the modulation transformer. Right, let's look at deviation, and according to my reckoning we're looking at the control there on the right. So we'll get that little oscillator back and try and move away from the ludicrously quiet transmitted audio. So as you can see, we've got about 1.5. We want 2.2 to 2.5. So we'll pop that up to 2 and then do a quick test. While I know it's a bit more. Wallow. Yep, that's spot on now. 2.2 and an absolute maximum of 2.5. Well, that's an improvement. Oh, something about well, it's probably got one of these TX meters, which means nothing. I'll tell you what we'll do to prove one way or the other. I'll turn the power back down whilst looking at the bar graph. So it's showing me 3 bars at the moment, and as you can see it's doing 4 watts. If we turn it down to lowest, it will goes 1.5 watts. That bar graph remains exactly the same position, telling me that it's a fake transmit bar. It's just a glorified TX light, which a lot of them are, unfortunately, these days. So that was no surprise, but that has at least covered it and proved it. So let's see if the radio can go on frequency. It's just slightly off, so with camera 2 we will hopefully move across the frequency display on the test set. That's slightly out, 2779104. So it's going to be one of these 2. I'm not sure why there's 2. So we'll go for the left hand one for a laugh, and that's altered it. There we are, 79125 toggling 6. So it's a left hand one of those is the frequency. So I'll make a note of that. The other one may be in use when there's other things in other countries, so I'm not going to touch things which we obviously don't need to mess with. So that's covered the transmit, and it's now working great. And just to see what it sounds like on our monitor set. Testing 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1. Well, it certainly is transmitting, so that's good. So we'll go over to receive now. We'll plug the test set into the extension speaker socket. And move camera 2 up to the oscilloscope. Not that oscilloscope, that oscilloscope. And we'll look for the maximum recovered audio. Well, that's S9. Well, that seems a bit deaf. Have we got RF gain or something on here? It's not showing us any bar graph. What it's showing us 1. So I need to disable the squelch. That's now an auto squelch. It's dropping out at 3 microvolts, which is no good. So I need to disable that. No idea what AL is, but we're going to have to find out pretty sharpish. So how do we adjust squelch? Not very intuitive. So, has squelch off in monitor. Press the on and off button twice for squelch adjust mode. No wonder I couldn't find it. So we'll switch that off. That's atrocious. There must be an RF gain controller because it's 3 microvolts we're listening to there. That's nearly as deft as a new Albrecht. Aha! So you have to have it in DX mode for maximum sensitivity. Hey! Otherwise it's attenuating it. That's better. You know, it's been fiddled with, hasn't it, this? They wouldn't ship it in that mode. Somebody sent this back as being quiet, under power and as deaf as a post. Yeah, that's down to 0.1 of a microvolt. That's where we want it. Right, so with S9 back on the signal generator, I'm now getting 2 bars. Let's look at the recovered audio, which is volume. Oh, AL is audio level. Aren't we all clever? Go to the top of the class and jump off. So I would suspect that either this coil or that coil is going to be the FM detector. Well, it isn't that one. It is that one. And I've been able to improve that a fraction. Right, we'll go over to that cyanide meter of ours. And we'll set this so we've got a dirty connection there on the input. About 4 decibels on the meter. Now we'll go through the receive. I'll start at the far end. Check that's right. I didn't know whether that's IF or front end. It was a bit ambiguous. And that looks right. Good. So let's get some cyanide readings. So we'll start with the 20 dB one. So this one's always subject to how noisy the transistors in a radio are, but this is reading quite well, very well, 0.77. So now we'll go to 12 decibel cyanide. Remember how deaf this was out of the box with that DX thing not being on. 0.24. And for the 10 decibel cyanide setting, 0.19. So that's excellent. So now we'll go over to squelch. So I'll park the signal generator at 0.3 of a microvolt and then switch off the signal generator. So we'll set the squelch to minimum. And we'll switch the signal generator back on. Oh, that's coming in at 10 microvolts. So have I got this right? Yep, that's minimum. Well, that's a bit coarse. Well, we better adjust it then. And I reckon that the squelch is that one there. So let's see what happens. Nothing. We'll go back to 3 microvolts. No, I'm wrong. Oh, I'm not. Unless that's auto squelch and the other one's this one. No. We'll leave that now as it is. So the squelch on manual is very coarse. So we want it now on auto squelch instead. And where's that? So let's play with that control again. Let's play with that control. So that is auto squelch. So for what it's worth, that is squelch and that is auto squelch. A bit too sensitive, that. So now I've got it coming in at 0.22 of a microvolt and leaving it 0.15 of a microvolt. So that's how we're going to keep that. Let's go back to manual squelch. Let's see what the maximum is, in case it works the opposite way. So maximum squelch is S9, which is how you'd expect. A minimum squelch pretty dire, that. I'm going to just go around with that again. That's absolute minimum it will do, and it's 3 microvolts, which I think is a poor show. I'll just make sure I haven't upset the maximum by dialing in 15 and going up to the maximum's now never going to come in. We're going to have to adjust that again. Go back to minimum again. Most of this video is going to be faffing with the squelch if it wasn't faffing with how to get the thing to come on. Oh, I only pressed it once, didn't I? So I've changed channel. So channel 20, squelch 1. So there we are, 3 microvolts to come in and 100 microvolts for it to be on full. So not very good, but the auto squelch compensates for it, and that's very sensitive. I'm not going to fiddle with CTCSS, I don't think. If we wanted to do that, so how does that activate? So I just want to see what it's encoding at, just for the level, because it should be about 0.3. So rotate the channel to what you want, press ASQCT, which is that, until the letter T appears. Okay, well it hasn't done. Okay, so I did a master reset. I don't know how I got into a right mess with it, but we're back on channel 20 UK, and we're back working with auto squelch, and that's all working beautifully. So it's a right faff, and I haven't got to grips with it myself. Can't see how we get into CTCSS. May not even be fitted on this model, but it doesn't say it isn't on the there's 3 functions for each button. So you've got the first press, you've got to hold it for 2 seconds press, then you've got press function and then press the button. So they're the 3 functions. So what a faff. One final thing, let's see where the S meter is on receive. So we have got 2 bars showing, and S meter is the adjustment just there. So we'll have all 3 for S9. There we are. Right, I'll put that back together, and we'll just pop it on the aerial like we do, so we can go 19 Roger and not get anybody. So anybody who's got one of these with its knickers in a twist, I suggest you press master reset, which, if you remember, we're switching it on by and holding the F and AF button, let it do a reset, switch it off, then switch it back to the country you're in. You lock that in with the channel 9 button, and hopefully it'll reset itself from there. And we've found that the auto squelch has got very nice sensitivity. Once again, I'm putting the lid on the back way round, and we found that manual squelch hasn't got very good sensitivity at all. So that might cover a few people's issues who may be trying to send them back as faulty. And I would think this is such a faff to work that this did get sent back as too much of a faff to work. I can't imagine it in your car, you know. You just haven't got time to messing like this. Unless you have it fixed on one channel like we would. I can't see a hobby user wanting to constantly change channel. It'd be a sensible set. And conversely, unless you're something like a farmer working on, like we have farmers working on channel 28 here all day, and they never need to change the sept, and they've got limited range, like 1.5 miles with the restricted aerials, you know, it might work for them. But I can think of more basic sets to purchase. So we'll pop it on the other aerial and on its own speaker. So to change channel, press the channel button, One niner Roger. No, that's not going to happen, is it? So there you have it, the bit of a faff but works alright. Doing 4 watts, good sensitivity, Yosan CB100. Thank you for watching.